Did you notice that when we were going through that visualization, that I was asking you to observe the feedback that your body was giving? I was asking you to observe the thoughts that you were thinking, because those thoughts were giving you feedback about where your mind is. And I've come to understand that we're receiving feedback in our lives all the time, in all areas of life. With every thought we have, with every action we take, there's feedback. And then what I've come to understand is that everything in our lives is feedback. And you see, we create a mental image of our life. And that mental image becomes the blueprint. It can become our freedom, and it can become our prison. You see, our prison is the mental image that we create about ourselves and about life. Anytime we create an image that boxes us in, that says, I'm not good enough, that the past indicates that this is all I can be. And then we find out that it's only the image we've created for ourselves. I was thinking about this last night at that gathering. I was talking with a minister friend, and we were talking about what good has come from being in this pandemic that we're in right now. And I'll tell you, there is more good that's come out of this from the standpoint of the Agape Center for Spiritual Living than I can begin to express. While we're not meeting physically, the message of Agape is going out beyond anything. Last week, I did a values workshop with the Agape group from Europe. How cool is that? In my mind, that wasn't even a possibility 3 months ago, that I would be doing workshops live via Zoom with people in other parts of the world. Now it's become second nature, because this week I'm going to be doing it again with another group of people in Europe. So you see, I had to take down the mental image that we were just this local community in the Collin County, Texas area, when in fact, what we are is we are a global digital community with a physical presence and physical community here in Collin County, Texas. Neither one is more important than the other. The key thing now is, how can I create the image where we find ways to nurture and support everybody? And it won't be the same, it'll be different. But you see, I had to take the prison, the idea around myself out to be able to see the new possibility. And that's true in every aspect of life. You see, we put ourselves in prison and we don't realize that we have the key to get out. And the key to get out is to change our image. It's to change our expectation. It's to let go of the smallness that I can't do this. Yes, I can. I can do anything. Here's another key. We can get out by letting go of some people that are in our lives. There are people in our lives, and we've kept them there, and I don't know why we've kept them there, that are holding us back. We've allowed them to hold us back. You know what? If there are people in your life holding you back, it's time to say, I love you, and I'm going to let you go into the universe and dance somewhere else, because at this time, I'm not capable of being with you and seeing my greatness and allowing myself to expand, because I'm too worried about pleasing you. This is the greatest lesson you can learn. You are not here to please anyone. It's one of the greatest lessons that I've learned in ministry today, is that I wanted to be a people pleaser when I came into ministry. And I've given that up. I'm not here to be a people pleaser. I'm not here to say what you want me to say. I'm here to speak the truth the way I see it. I'm here to share what I believe are tools that will help people uncover a greater sense of them. And you know what? That's going to bother people. Because you know what? It isn't until we press buttons that things change. You can see that happening in the world right now. You can see that right now we are looking at getting rid of racism at a greater level than any time in the history of this country. At any time. And it took this letting go. And you know what? People tell me, no, this is not about race. This is about this. No, it's not. This is about getting rid of racism. And I'm at a point now where people tell me that's not what it is and you need to stop speaking that I'm going to say, hey, that's wonderful. Go about your life and leave me out of it. Because I am speaking the truth, and I'm speaking what I understand is spiritual truth, that we were all created out of the same one. We're all created equal out of the same one. We've all been given gifts out of the same one. We're all using the same creative power out of the same one. And we've all been given the right to be authentic out of the same one. And I think it's time we start living the truth that we teach. We start living that we are children of God. We are emanations of spirit. We are individualizations of the one. We are microcosms of the macrocosm. And to live anything other than that is to live a lie. And I refuse to live a lie ever again. We only have the power if we realize it. And realize this, only I am the only one who has the power to create an image that becomes the blueprint of my life. Just like you are the only one that can create the blueprint that becomes the image of your life. So don't let anyone influence you. Make sure it's your image. Spend time working on this image. If I am that man, if I am that woman, what would it feel like if I was living that? And if you could feel what it was like to live that, and it felt good for you, go with that. Don't worry about perfecting the image. Take that step and just do it. Go with it and start the process. And realize that you can adjust anytime you want. Because why? You're getting feedback every moment. You put an image out there, you speak something, you get feedback. You think something, you get feedback. You act, you get feedback. And that feedback tells you where you are in respect to that image. So you don't have to worry about where you are. You've just got to listen to the feedback. You've got to be aware that life is a feedback mechanism. I love that. It's so clear. I had the experience of being in a situation where I was large group of people and there was an individual that I knew that was struggling. And I made the point to ignore the other people and spend a lot of quality time with this individual. Why? I just knew it was the right thing to do. I knew that this person needed attention. And the attention wasn't to change, the attention was to accept, to listen. Do you notice what I just said? To accept and listen. And in doing so, I didn't realize how it touched this person until months later when they told me, he says, you can't imagine how your presence supported and fed me and brought me to a new understanding. You see, everything is feedback. And I'm creating an image for me that I am one who listens. I'm one who listens and does not judge. But when asked for support, I will give feedback. Because as I do so, I help the person see where they are on their path. You see, the only control we have in life is over our perceptions, how we perceive things, how we look at things, the lens that we look through. And based on those perceptions, the next thing is our decisions. And I've got to talk out there the power of decision. Most powerful thing in the world. Because when you decide something, you take away any other possibility. I've decided this is where I'm going. And then the last thing we have control over are our actions. So we control our perceptions, our decisions, and our actions. You notice how they build on each other? They follow each other. The first thing you have to do is you have to perceive. Once you have that perception, you have to make a decision on which way you go. And then once you make that decision, then you take the action. Once you take the action, you're going to get feedback. Once you get the feedback, you let the perception of what that feedback is telling you based on the image that you've created, and then you can adjust your decision or keep going with the decision. But everything in life is a feedback loop. It never stops. Back and forth, back and forth. It's a feedback loop. And you see, when we receive feedback, it simply tells us whether we're off course or whether we're on course. And we get the choice to make adjustments. We get the choice to make adjustments based on the feedback. We can stay in the misery. There's a lot of people out there in misery that keep getting misery. Why? It's feeding them. Why is it feeding them? They're getting sympathy. They're getting attention. Not what I want. I want to be free. But that's where they are. So what can we do? What can we use this feedback for? I think it's three things. We can use this feedback to adjust our actions. We can use this feedback to create a new image. Or we can use this feedback to stay the course. You see, when we're looking at life, it's giving us clear messages back through the experiences that we have. And the emotions that we have are just a feedback loop. The emotions are telling us whether we're on course or not. So think about your day already this morning. What feedback have you received? When you were eating breakfast, did you eat something and right now you're a bit bloated? Maybe you have a bit of agina? If you do, maybe the food's telling you that it's not what you should be eating. Maybe you haven't eaten yet and your stomach's going crazy. That's a feedback loop. Maybe you should be having some food. When you woke up, were you kind to if you're living with people, were you kind to them? Or did you bark orders at them? What feedback did they give you? You see, everything is a feedback. And I'm just asking you to increase your level of awareness. And when you're receiving the feedback, ask, is this feeding the image of life that I have for myself? If it is, stay the course. If it's not, you get to choose whether you adjust your actions or you create a new image. Remember, the power is within you and nowhere else. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.